Oh, hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to another chapter working on this guy right there. That's our 1967 Shelby GT350. We're going to start doing some painting on this guy. So we'll run the intro and we'll get right to it, okay? Okay guys, we're back. So, as you know, you watched the last time, we put some primer on this guy. Got the primer on, and you'll notice I have added our scoops on the sides. Okay, what I did is I actually drilled them out, and I got them hollowed out. You can see that's actually holes in there now, and that's really cool. That's going to be a cool little feature. Even if it's only me that sees it and me that knows what I did. At least I know it did it, right? That sometimes is all it counts, right? Anyway, I did a similar thing to my hood. I figured, you know what, the hood scoops on this thing, they are functional, and so you can see in this camera here, you can see they are functional. There are holes now going through there, and I did wind up scratching up the hood just a little bit, and so I put another coat of primer down. That's okay, so that's fine. It's not going to be anything really noticeable once we got paint on there, especially a couple of layers. So yeah, it should be fine. Okay, and if not, then I'll just sand it some more and do it again. It's not a big deal, it's just the hood, right? But the first thing we've got to do is we've got to put some color down them, because as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing some candy paint, something similar to my Coke can. Pro Scale Paint, they make a candy ruby, and that's the color that I'm going to be going for on this, a candy red. Okay, I also have their sparkling silver candy base, which is going to be going down. I'm going to put this down over top of a black base coat. Okay, then I'll put this silver. This has really got a lot of pigment in it, and it's very, very silver. But yeah, this stuff they spray right out of the jar. You can thin them more if you really want, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what we're going for. But I got to put some black down. So I'm just going to quickly spray this guy black. Then I'll do the hood, and we'll have to come back later because I want to let the black cure. Now I did do a little bit of sanding on this with some, with my really fine sandpaper. Where did I put it here? I believe this is 1000 grit. It almost feels like regular paper. Just to get any dust marks or any little blemishes that would have come off on there when I sprayed the primer. So I just kind of smoothed it up. Didn't really do under the chin here, but that's okay. I'll do the same thing with the black. Once I got the black laid down, I'll do the same thing after it's cured, of course, and then we will do another coat of black just to make sure we got coverage, right? And yeah, I did do some research online to see if there actually is a panel line along the back here, and sure enough, right above where the bumper goes, there is a line that goes on these cars right there. And the fact that I can kind of see a little ghost of a seam there, good enough for me. And it happens to be in the right spot, and I got it right on the both sides. Down here I got nothing, and that's great. That's perfect. That's just like the real car. So yeah, one thing I don't really like about the way this kit goes together is where the back connects here. This is great. This is a perfect transition from the rear quarter panel to the back panel. That is a great transition on this side. Perfect. Unfortunately on this side we've got this weird little gap, this little thing going through there, and like I've mentioned before, that's just, I'm not a body man, and so I would have to like fill in a gap that goes like that and fill that in, and I don't want to have to do that, so I'm just going to leave it. It is just a model kit after all. So I'm going to put this back in here just like that. Make sure it's, see, you got to make sure it's tight. If it's not tight, that kind of bad stuff happens. So make sure that this is going to squeeze on it a little better. Okay. That'll give her a better squeeze. Yeah, see, much better. You gotta be careful of that stuff, because I'm gonna tip it upside down to get the underside here. Okay, I'm gonna just use Tamiya's TS14 black. Nice and simple. Oh, this is a brand new jar. I haven't even opened this one yet. Like I said, it's nice and simple. And you know, unfortunately up in Canada here, oh, that reminds me, somebody asked me on one of my videos, somebody did ask which part of Canada I'm from. I'm on the west coast. I'm on the west coast near Vancouver. Okay? Province of British Columbia. I don't have my painting camera set up because this is just spray painting with an aerosol can, and yeah. Well, I can do this. I can change this since I'm not using that camera. There, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay. Make sure you got good ventilation when you're doing this stuff. You got to have open windows, fans, stuff like that if you're in a closed room like I am. Or you got to do it in your spray booth. Right? Make sure that... I tell you, brand new spray cans, I always spray right off the bat. Got the most pressure. They do spray nice. Okay, so we've got that. Got to make sure we get everywhere. Okay. All right, now we've got a nice black shadow. Now I can set it down and do this. Go all the way around the car. Under the hood too. Okay, that is good for my first coat. Okay, there he is. That's good enough for our first coat. Don't need to do any more. We're just going to let that dry. Okay, I'll let that dry and I'll sand it down a little bit. You got to do the hood too. Don't forget the hood. Got to do the hood also. So I'll do underneath here. To the bottom. No, I don't really need to do the bottom because I'm not going to do the... Well, you know what? I am going to do the top of the hood, so I should. When I say top, I meant underneath. Make sure you do all sides. Okay, so there's our hood, just like that. Nice and shiny black. And you know, if you're going for a black car, that would be great. But we're not doing black on this puppy. We're doing candy red. So, we're going to let this cure. And then we're going to give it a little bit of a sanding. And then we're going to do another coat. And we'll come back to do that. So, we'll see you back in a little bit, okay?
Moments later.
Okay, so we are back, guys. It's been a day anyway. So we got our black done. Got the black on there, and got a black hood, and so we are ready to paint this guy silver. Now, like I mentioned before, I'm going to be using the Pro Scale paints. This is the sparkling silver base. So I've got my airbrush fired up, or not my airbrush, but my air compressor fired up. I'm going to mix up our silver. Making sure that's nice and we got no pigment stuck at the bottom of the jar. Sometimes these silver paints, especially if they've been sitting for a while, you just get a lot of pigment sitting at the bottom of the jar, so you got to make sure that's nice and cleaned up. I'm going to put my hood on a little clip, get my airbrush. I don't have my camera set up for painting, so you'll just have to kind of watch me in the distance. I'll change this. Yeah, let's move this here. Bing, bing, bing. There, you can see my table. And you'll be able to watch me at least from there. Okay. Now, airplane, shut up. Shut up, airplane. You can paint these guys right out of the jar. I do very often. And yeah, I have not had an issue with them spraying out of the jar. You can, of course, thin them down more if you want. That is totally up to you. And yeah. And yeah. Okay. So we're gonna paint this guy silver. I'll put my body back on my little holder here. Of course. Do that. There we go. Make sure I've got it tight enough so that when I do this, that'll work. Okay, we'll do the hood first. Okay, do the hood first and see how she's gonna look. So much pigment in this silver. So much pigment in that. It's crazy. Okay, there's our first little dry coat. We'll do a more full coat on it. There we go. That's nice and silver, isn't it? Yeah, shiny. Yeehaw. Okay, so let's put this down here. And then we'll get to our body. Bit of a challenge with the silver because it doesn't really cover that great at first. Your first preliminary coat over the black. It almost just kind of looks like I'm spraying aluminum on it. Like an aluminum flakes. Okay, so now we've got a car that kind of looks like gunmetal a little bit. It's kind of a unique thing. You could, if you were going for a gunmetal colored car, that would work pretty good. That's all right, eh? Okay, now with that preliminary coat done, let's flip her over again. And we'll do a heavy. Slow on our passes so that we get coverage. Don't forget your inner fender wells. That's important too. Just making sure I've got it. Good coverage. All right, that's the bottom half. When I do the red, I'll get to that. I'll get my other camera set up for when I'm doing the red, so you guys can see. Okay, so now we have a silver Mustang. Okay. Now I am tempted to just put the hood on the car and do the hood and the fenders at the same time. I'm going to do that when I do the red, because you need to have all your panels on there, especially when you're trying to do candy, because candy, you could do just a slightly slower pass on your hood than what you do on here, and next thing you know, the hood is a darker color than what the rest of it is. So you got to be really mindful of that kind of thing. I think I've got my hood basically. Let me take a look here. My silver coverage should be very similar, although my hood does look like a little bit shinier than the rest of it. I could be wrong. No, see, my hood is a lot more silvery. So I'm going to go over this again with silver, and we'll do another coat on here just to make sure. We want it all looking the same, right? So that's the main thing. Whoops. I didn't know these two pieces came apart, but I guess they do. Doink. Okay, so there we go. So there's our silver. I'm going to clean up my airbrush, and we'll continue on with the red next, okay? So we'll see you in a little bit. We're back, and we're going to put some red on our body now. As you can tell, I got a new coffee. It's been a day. Okay, so with our silver, we've got our silver car. So what I did is I let it cure for, I don't know, a good 10 to 12 hours or so, something like that. And then I just took I wet sanded it very lightly just to get any dust or anything that may have decided to cling to my silver paint, because I want to make it smooth. I want it smooth. I want a nice smooth layer for the candy red to go down on. Okay, now I've already shaken this up. She's ready to go. My air compressor's ready to go. So I'm ready to go. But not quite. I want to grab something really special here. My Tamiya anti-static brush. I haven't had to use this at all on this so far, but I want to make sure there's no dust on this for the red. I'm still going to get dust. I realize that. I have to accept my fate. And my fate is that when I do gloss clear coats or gloss coats of paint at all, I get dust on it. And that's just the reality. It's just the reality of it. Just the way it is. Okay, but this little brush really does a good job at least minimizing it anyway. Okay, I do have my other camera set up. It should be good to go. Should be. You know, my painting camera is a little finicky sometimes, but I should be able to get it working. It should work. Here's my thing. Okay, so our candy red. This is going to be fun. This is only I think the third time I've tried to do a candy, and my first two times, well, at leaves a lot to be desired. It's the very first time I did it, it wound up just like, oh, okay, it's blue. It's not candy at all. But we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna do the hood first. No, I'm not doing that. I want to have a consistent. Now you see, somehow I got a drop of something on here. What was that? Where was that? Did I spit? I don't know. I want to paint the hood on the car. I want the hood on the car when I paint this. Okay. Why do I want it on there? Because I want a consistent coat of paint. Because like I mentioned last time, there's potential that I put a coat of paint on the hood and I happen to do it a little bit thicker than I do on the car, or vice versa. And then I go and put that hood on there and you can totally see the difference in the shade of paint. Okay, so anyway, we're going to move this over here and I'll change the camera and we'll get started. Here we are. Okay, I wish I could zoom in better, but I can't. I'm actually going to pull the hood off for now because I want to get this side. It's important to get this edge. Nice. That's a nice red. Okay. I think we're going to call this done. That's a nice red. Let me show you on the big camera here, just so you're going to appreciate the color on it. Now, obviously, this is going to need some polishing. It's going to need some clear coat on it, but that is our color right now, guys. There we go. That's our red Mustang. Just like that. I hate that keeps coming off. Okay. So that's going to be it for this color. The next is going to be clear. After, of course, I'm going to let this cure. I'm going to let this cure and harden for probably the whole day. And probably not even going to touch this until tomorrow or maybe later tonight. Like really later tonight. Yeah, that's going to be it for this one. And so, yeah, we'll see you a little bit later, okay? All right.
One pair of pants later.
We are back. As you can see, I've done some changes to this car, and we're about ready to paint some stripes. I had to kind of change gears, sort of. I was going to use the decals out of the kit. You know, this kit comes with both white and silver stripes in the decals. And I still have a few left here, but I had started to put the white ones on. I decided to go white. I was going to go white stripes on this car. And I tried putting them on, and even with using a whole lot, even like multiple applications of the Mart Fit Super Strong, it wasn't working. It was not getting at the decals at all. They were not laying down, especially over the hood with the little hood scoop and everything. It was not conforming to the curves at all, and I was really not happy with it. So I decided to just pull them off and mask the car, and I'm going to paint them. So using the silver ones as a guide, I measured these. These are 10 millimeters wide. I happen to have 10 millimeter wide Tamiya tape, so that was my guide, with 2 millimeters in between to match that up. And yeah, so I've gone over the whole car all the way around. We're going to do some white painting today, and so I'm going to be using Tamiya's X2, and yeah, that's what we're going to use. I do need to thin it, so we're going to be adding some thinner. I'm just going to take this guy and put him over here for now while I get some paint here into my little cup. I need some thinner. I'm going to use my Mr. Color Leveling Thinner. I'm going to use this stuff, or as everyone says online, MLT. MLT. They're always calling it MLT because nobody wants to type out full words these days. So I don't need a whole lot, so we're going to do about that much, I think. That's probably going to be a lot more than I need. For to actually tell you what it says on my cup, we're looking at half a teaspoon, or about an eighth of an ounce, or 25 cc's, or 25 milliliters. That's what it says on the cup. Okay, I want to do about 50-50. Maybe a little more thinner than paint. I want it nice and thin because I want it to flow nice out of my airbrush. So my mixture might actually be about 60-40, something like that, 60% thinner. Okay, let's just put it here, why not? Okay, my air compressor is already fired up. I do have my other camera going so we can watch me paint my stripes and see if everything goes well or if it's a disaster. We'll soon find out, eh? Yeah. Okay, I'll change my cam and let's see, make sure she's all lined up and should go. Alright. So, yeah, this is flowing nice. I just want to make sure I've got tape is down. Good. All right. You might be wondering, like, why am I doing my coats over so quickly? Okay. Basically, I'm able to go over this very quickly and do a second coat because the Tamiya paint dries that fast. Now I am noticing I've got a little bit of my masking tape coming up, it's peeling up right here. I may have some overspray under it already, but right here on the roof, it's kind of peeled up a little bit. At least that's what it looks like it's doing. So I'm just going to try and push it back down. I also got a little bit on my hood here. So if I can just kind of tack that back down, hopefully I don't really have any issue. I can see that it's lifted and it's painted underneath, so right in here, just in front, I may have to, I'm definitely going to have to touch that up later, but we'll see. This is already pretty much dry to the touch, so I can do another coat, because I got to build up the layers. I can still see the red underneath of it. It's subtle and the camera doesn't really pick it up, but yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm almost at a point. I'm almost at a point where my subsequent passes over the white are not making it more white, and that's when you finally got you can tell you finally got your full coverage, and you don't have anything coming through. So I've grabbed this and put it on there. You can see it's very white, and it's nice and glossy, so that's nice. The X2 is actually turning out. The fact that it's glossy tells me I'm actually spraying a wet coat, which for me, that's an improvement, because I usually spray dry. So the fact that I've got some sheen on there, as you can see as I go through the light, that tells me it's actually painting a wet coat, and it's already, I'm only touching my overspray spot here, and it's pretty much dry to the touch, which is great. I'm going to do one more coat, and then we're going to be done with the white. Okay. Okay, so that is it for the white. I'm gonna let that dry, let that cure, and then we'll get on to wet sanding, and I'll just do that. I'll wet sand off camera like I usually do, and then we'll deal with clear coat. Yeah, so we'll be back in a little bit. Okay guys, we're back. Okay, we're back, and I'm hoping to get this done. So we got the stripes done. I have the hood separate here. After I'd finished painting the stripes, I let it dry for about 10 minutes, and I took the masking tape off, and that's the results of our masking and our stripes on the body. Unfortunately, when I took the masking tape off of the hood, yeah, we had a bit of a problem, as some of the red paint, well, it lifted right off with the masking tape. I'll show you that right here. Okay. Yeah, so I would basically grabbed my Tamiya lacquer thinner, this stuff here, put it in a little container, threw the hood in there for about 10 minutes, grabbed a toothbrush, scrubbed it off, stripped all the paint off the hood, and started from scratch. 3 days later, I've got a hood that's painted and proper. Okay, so after letting the white cure for a day or so, I grabbed my 8000 grit. Where's my 8000? 8000 grit sanding sponge, wet sanded just the edges of the stripes. Okay, just wet sanded the stripes just to take that edge. You could feel an edge on the stripe between the white and the red. So I sanded that down just to get rid of that, so you don't have a harsh edge on those edges. Okay, so got that done. We are ready for clear. What am I going to use for clear? You guys know I've used a couple of different clears. I like to use Tamiya clear out of the spray can. I've used Tamiya X22 clear. I have all kinds of different clears. I'm going to try 2K clear. That's right. So I got this stuff. This is Car Rep 2K clear coat. This is what they call Wise 2K. So this is different in that a lot of times you guys will see 2K clear is always it's 2KY because I guess because it's two parts. You have a catalyst inside the can. A lot of times there's a little valve at the bottom here that you need to pop or pull or whatever. It releases the catalyst inside the can. You shake it up and you get to spray your clear coat. Unfortunately, that makes the shelf life on this rather short. This stuff by Car Rep, though, they claim that this stuff combines or catalyzes when it sprays out rather than doing it in the can. So that means they claim that this will have a much longer shelf life. You can actually let this sit on the shelf for a month or two or whatever and reuse it over and over, and you're going to get to use the whole can before you need to buy another one. Now, of course, this 2K stuff, this is expensive stuff, right? This cost me, I think it was about 30 bucks on Amazon for this stuff. I think it was 30 bucks. That's, of course, Canadian. You guys in the States would get a lot cheaper. But, yeah. So, they give you some instructions on the side of the can. They tell you to shake it upside down for 3 minutes. So, I'm going to get a workout of my arm here. So, as I shake this up, I'm going to set a timer on my phone. And, I'll just set my timer here for 3 minutes. Yeah, really, I'm going to really do it for 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to set this upside down just as the instructions show. And, yeah. So I'm going to do this for 3 minutes. Come back in a minute, okay? Okay. Done. 3 minutes is done. Okay. Alright, so that's done. I'm going to grab my nice little anti-static brush by Tamiya. We're going to make sure we got no static on our body. We want to make sure there's no dust, because dust, well, realistically, I know dust happens. I'm going to get dust on this no matter what. But if I can do something to try and minimize it at least a little bit, I don't have a spray booth, I don't have a big vacuum I can put on the top of my ceiling and suck all the dust up. That would be really nice. I should mention I did, although I painted the stripes on the top, on the sides here, this is the decal. I put the decals on the sides. I put the Shelby emblems on there. Those are decals also, and there's a little Shelby decal on the back too. Anyway, that's that. Okay, we are going to spray paint this body. Okay, he is done and ready. I'll do some on the hood. That done. Okay. Anti-static done. Just put him here for now. Okay, I'll switch the camera. I do have it set up here, so let's try this and see, make sure it works. All right. The underside first. Oh. Very unique smell coming out of this can. Yeehaw. I'm going to be turning my fan on for this. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Do our hood. Hood's done. Just like that. Now I'm seeing lots of little things in that, but we'll see. Okay, so this car has come out really, really nice. My hood, however, is looking really, really splotchy. I'm going to change the camera to the overhead, see if the camera will pick this up. You can see texture in the hood. Look at that. Look at that. That looks terrible. Why the hood has done that, and yet this car is looking like glass, I don't know. You can see this. This is looking like smooth as glass. It's very sticky. This stuff takes a long time to cure. Yeah. So, so the body looks great. And it says on here, wait 5 minutes between layers. So I will wait 5 minutes. I think it's been about a minute, right? So I'm going to put my timer for another 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Let's put this down here. I'm going to turn on my fan. I'm really disappointed in the way that came out on the hood. This is going to take a lot of buffing to get that nice and smooth. On the car body, though, this looks really beautiful. But the hood, for some reason, just came out awful. Anyway, 4 minutes, I'll spray another layer on the hood. I think the body is just, it's fine. I don't need to do any more on the body. I don't think so. The body is just looking perfect. If this cures as smooth as it looks now, I am not going to even have to polish this at all. It looks beautiful. Clearly the best clear coat I've done. This is the best clear coat I've ever done. This, not so much, but this is beautiful. I want that to stay the same and just, that looks wonderful. I love that. So I really am hoping that the hood can clean up and get nice as that, because that is, wow, I'm really impressed with this stuff. Really impressed. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes. I'm gonna do a clear. I'll do another coat on the hood. I'm basically gonna call this video done. Okay. You guys have now seen the whole process that I've done on the body, and obviously now I've sealed it in with the clear. The only thing I have to do is I'm gonna have to let this cure. It says here to let it cure. It's dry to the touch in half an hour, and dry to and fully hardened in 12 hours. So tomorrow this will be fully cured. So, and then unfortunately there's a sixth panel on the can here that is covered by the sticker. It looks like, I'm guessing it's a warning not to put gas on it. Oh no, it is chemical resistant after 14 days. So there we go. Chemical resistant after 14 days. Anyway, I got another minute. I'm going to spray another coat on the hood. Hopefully that'll fix this up. I don't think it will. I'm not confident it will, but I'm going to try. A second coat on the hood. I'm going to leave the body the way it is. We're going to let it cure, and then I'll polish the hood. I'm going to leave this just the way it is. If this hardens like this is like glass. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. Best one I've ever done. Yeah. That's where I'm going to leave it, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for watching this. And we'll be back after it's all cured and done, and we'll do some chrome and stuff. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you all in the next one.